Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into today's video where we're going to be talking about how to start dropshipping in 2019. So how to get off the ground running, how to do everything properly, and most importantly, how you can actually go out there and actually start your first successful business in 2019. So a lot of things with dropshipping have changed over the years, so I'm going to be going over what I think would be the best roadmap for anyone that's just getting into dropshipping, as well as at the end of the video, kind of going over a couple of things that have changed in recent years and recent months, so that way you can be up to date on everything like that. So the first half of the video is going to be kind of like a roadmap, and the second half of the video is going to be about things that have changed within the industry. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is commitment and expectations. And this is probably the most important step of the entire video, because this is what's going to keep a lot of you from reaching the results that you're going for. So what you really need to do is just commit to making this work no matter what. So business in general is one of the hardest things to do on planet Earth, which is why such a small percentage of the population even start a business, and why even a smaller percentage of those people actually end up succeeding in business. It's because it's hard, there's risk involved, and it takes a lot of persistence and other types of traits like that. So you need to be able to draw a line in the sand and just commit to making this work no matter what, because if you don't do that, if you're trying to just dip your feet in the water, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot in the sand, it's just not going to work, and you might as well not even get started if you're not willing to completely commit up front. So you need to understand that this is going to take time, effort, and you're going to fail a lot before you succeed. That's just the way it works with anything. So you need to be aware that you're definitely going to lose money at first. That's just how it works. You're going to lose money when you're learning things. So one common question that gets brought up a lot of the time in the dropshipping community is, how can you go out there and make money as a beginner? Well, the truth is you can't. Beginners don't make money. Beginners learn. You don't make money until you're good at something. You can't expect to make money with a business model that you're bad at when you're competing directly with other people that are good at that business model. So beginners don't make money, but everyone that is making money started out as a beginner. So you need to keep that in mind. So as a beginner, your goal needs to be to test out things and learn. And you don't want to stay a beginner for more than a couple weeks or a few months, because a lot of times people just keep attaching themselves to that label. And really, if you've been watching YouTube videos or you've went through a couple courses, you're no longer a beginner anymore. You know what you need to do. You just need to keep trying and go out there and test and execute it. So if you're completely new, don't expect any significant results in the first few months, because you're going to be learning new things. You're going to be trying things out. You're going to be testing things. And like I said, the people that are making money are advanced and they are good at what they're doing, meaning that if you want a piece of that pie, you need to be able to compete with these people. So you're going to have to go through the learning curve just like everyone else did, and you're going to have to learn what's working, what's not, and you're going to have to be able to compete with these people that are out there making money. So if you're completely new, don't expect to be able to compete with these people right out of the gate. And my question to you would be, is if it took you 10 months to start a $10,000 per month business, would that be worth it? And most of you would probably say yes, because it's better to have a 10K per month business, even let's say a year from now, than not at all. So the whole point of this first step and why it's so important is because the majority of people don't commit. The typical dropshipping story for most people is they come in, they watch a couple of YouTube videos, they get excited, they shake their pom-poms around, they make a store, they half-ass it, it looks like shit, they spend $10 on ads, and then they cry about how they don't have $10,000 in their bank account, and they quit. And that's the story for most dropshippers. And when you look at it from a logical perspective, that's completely delusional, because they half-assed the entire process. They barely ran any ads. They didn't test more than one product. They didn't spend time going through trial and error, learning what works and what doesn't. They just expected to get rich quick and overnight, which that just doesn't exist. So that's why this is the most important step of this entire video. You need to commit to making it work, and then you need to set expectations that are actually reasonable, because you're not going to go out there and make $10,000 overnight if this is the first time you've done this and you have no idea what you're doing. So that said, if you're not willing to commit to this business model for at least 6 months, then don't even start. Just save yourself the time and go ahead and don't even try it. So the next step we're going to get into is gathering the necessary funds. So this is another touching point for a lot of people. A lot of people want to say, well, how can I start a store with $100? Well, you can't. The thing is, I know there's a lot of videos out there where it's like turning $50 worth of ad spend into maybe like $500 or $700. And while that is possible, this is somebody that's advanced doing that. So this is someone that knows how to go out there and take a small budget and multiply that money accordingly. However, this is somebody that's done that multiple times over and over and over again. But considering you have never done this before, you're not going to be able to go out there and do that on your first try. So the thing is, you're going to have to gather the necessary funds. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, I normally recommend having about $2,000 when starting a store. So a couple quick tips that you can use to go out there and get the necessary funds to be able to fund your business. One, if you're young and you don't have a job, just get a job. Just don't avoid it. It's a lot easier to fund a business if you have a steady income coming in. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but oh well, it's the best thing to do. So if you're also looking for more replenishable income that you can get in the meantime, you can also do freelance work online. So you can do VA work for other business owners. Maybe like handling customer support emails, stuff like that. You can go to Upwork and try and apply for jobs on there. You can learn some basic graphic design, like for example, learn how to design thumbnails or something for people, and then select a niche on YouTube. It can be any niche, and then just start sending out mass emails saying that you will go ahead and design their thumbnails for like $3 or $5 per thumbnail, and voila, you have some income right there. So we're not going to stay on this for too long because the easiest solution is to just go out there and get a job. But if you're unable to get a job, then do freelance work online, because not only do you want the $2,000 for starting out your store, but you don't want it to be like, okay, well, if I burn through this $2,000 and it doesn't work, then I quit. Because like I said, then you're not sticking to step one up here, which is to commit. So in order to commit, you're going to need replenishable income, because while you may start to find success within the first $2,000, you might not. So you need to commit, which means you're going to need replenishable income. You don't want to be worried about burning through the last of your funds. So the next thing you need to do is learn. So you want to go out there and utilize YouTube videos and paid courses to learn what's working right now, because like I said, dropshipping is rapidly changing like any industry, especially in today's day and age and the era of information and technology. All industries are rapidly changing at an ever-growing pace, so you always want to see what's the most effective strategy that's working right now. You want to look for relevant, up-to-date information taught by someone who's actually doing e-commerce. So you want to try and avoid regurgitated content, and you want to find someone that actually has e-commerce stores and learn from them. Paid courses typically provide extra value and speed up your learning curve, because you can usually go out there and either join a Facebook group, or maybe you get private access to the mentor or whatever, and you can ask them questions and stuff. Now, I put usually in here because some paid courses are just complete garbage. So my recommendation on paid courses is essentially whoever's free content you like, you're probably going to like their paid content. So like, for example, if you like my free videos, you'll probably like my paid courses, and that goes for everyone else that's putting up videos. So that's the easiest way to go out there and vet information and decide what course you want to buy, if you want to buy a course. So that's the next step. Make sure that you're learning. And then I want to also reiterate that you're not going to be learning just once and then it stops there. So you're not going to go out there, learn for a couple weeks, and then make money for years. You're going to be constantly learning, because every industry is constantly evolving. So you want to go out there and learn, and then apply, and then you want to keep learning so that you can stay ahead of the curve, because people ahead of the curve are the ones making the most money. So the next step is the store setup strategy. So what I'm going to recommend that everyone do moving into 2019 is start out with 2 stores. So your first store is going to be a general store, and then your second store is going to be a single product store. So a general store is going to allow you to test any trending product that you come across, and it's going to allow you to get you used to the marketing process as quickly as possible. But single product stores, in my opinion, are the single best dropshipping strategy right now. So that's why I said that you should go out there and create both, because the general store allows you to test a lot of viral trending products, and the single product store allows you to go ahead and leverage the best strategy for dropshipping right now. But I want to make sure that I put heavy emphasis on the fact that you need to focus on making these stores actually look good and professional, because one of the biggest issues is people just go out and create absolutely shit looking stores and they wonder why they don't convert. Well, it's because they look like shit. So you need to make sure these stores actually look good. Spend time, set it up right, do everything the right way the first time so you don't have to waste time coming back. Don't half-ass it. Actually look at your store from an objective standpoint, look at other stores and say, does my store look as good as theirs? And if not, go back and fix it. So what you're going to be doing is testing hot products in your general store. I'm sure everyone's familiar with this. And then you're going to create your single product store around a proven super hot product. Now, just a quick little plug, I actually do have an entire course around the single product store strategy called Brand Sniping 101. And actually right now for the holiday season up until New Year's Day, I'm having a bundle sale on both of my courses, Ecom Black and Brand Sniping 101, which you can get for $97 both courses, which is kind of crazy considering Brand Sniping 101 is a $500 course standalone and Ecom Black's over $1,000. So if you want to hop into this bundle deal and get both courses for just $97, I'll leave a link in the description down below. But with that said, this is my recommended strategy for you guys to do moving into 2019, is to go ahead and go out there and create two stores. So create one general store and then one single product store. This is going to allow you to learn a lot and not miss out on trending products with the general store, but it's also going to allow you to access higher conversion rates and cheaper cost per purchases with the single product store. And it's going to teach you a lot about branding. The single product store really helps you learn a lot about how to build an actual brand, which is going to be really valuable when it comes to creating a long-term brand down the road, which is the goal for most people in e-commerce. And then the next step is marketing. So what I recommend when it comes to marketing is that you first start out with selecting one major ad platform to master between Facebook and Google. So optimally down the road, you're going to want to use both of these, but choosing one first allows you to achieve mastery over it, and then you can move on to mastery in the next. So what I would recommend doing at first is going out there and taking a few hours to learn the basics of each platform, and then from there, choose the one you feel more confident with to move forward. So if you spend 2-3 hours learning the basics of Facebook ads and Google ads, and you're like, I kind of like the way Google ads works more than the way Facebook ads work, then go ahead and set out to master Google ads first. And then once you become really confident with Google ads, then move into trying to add Facebook ads into your arsenal as well, and vice versa. So I know a lot of people will recommend to do both at the same time. And while this may work for some people, I do personally recommend that it's better off to master one and then move to the other, because it's better to be in the top 1% of Google advertisers than in the top 50% of both Google and Facebook, because you're going to make a lot more money if you're an expert at one, and that doesn't mean you can't be an expert at the other as well, but it's easier to learn one thing at a time. That's just how the human mind works. So with that said, that's the step-by-step process that I personally recommend for dropshipping moving into 2019. So now we're going to go ahead and get into the second part of the video, where I'm going to be covering a few things that have changed in dropshipping recently, so that way you can keep these in mind and be aware of these moving into the new year. The first thing is that Facebook is harder and more competitive than ever. So there's a lot of advertisers on the platform, and it's growing and growing each day. So I remember back in 2016 when Facebook advertising was a lot less competitive. You could acquire customers for a lot less money, clicks were way cheaper, and the advertising process was just easier because the competition was low, so you didn't have to do as many crazy things to go out there and acquire customers. But those glory days, as you could call it, are now over, and competition is extremely high, which means you have to be really good. So recent Facebook policies have also gotten a lot stricter, especially with, I'm sure everyone saw Facebook in the news earlier this year. They've been implementing a lot of policies on advertisers, making everything a lot stricter. So this makes advertising a bit harder. Another thing with Facebook, you pretty much have to use video ads at this point. Video ads are way more attention grabbing. When someone's scrolling through their feed, they're way more likely to stop and watch a video than they are to click on just some random image. So you have to use video ads at this point. It's pretty much not optional. And also with the rise in competition, you're going to have to test broader audiences. And when you move into broader audiences, you're going to need a larger testing budget. So these are really important things to keep in mind if you're going to be utilizing Facebook in 2019. Just know the competition is going to be higher, the policies are stricter. Stick with video ads, test broader audiences, but that's also going to require a larger budget. So the next thing is that Instagram influencers are essentially only worth it with custom products. So if you're private labeling or you've created your own products, and this is just a personal opinion, but Instagram influencers to me are only really worth it for branding, so getting brand awareness out there. So if you created a custom product and then you just send a bunch of free products to a bunch of different influencers within the niche, that's amazing for brand awareness, but that's not really worth it if it's a random dropshipping product from AliExpress. So in my opinion, if you're just dropshipping AliExpress items, Instagram influencers are not really worth it because it's not really you're not really learning a skill set. Google ads and Facebook ads are a skill set that's repeatable. Instagram influencers are a little bit more gimmicky, and in my opinion, their only purpose is really for branding. So keep that in mind moving into this year. And the next thing is that Google ads are less competitive than Facebook right now, and I expect that Google will become a more mainstream dropshipping traffic source in 2019 as Facebook becomes harder to use and gets more and more competitive. I think more and more people are going to transition to Google. Google doesn't have as many of these strict policies, at least not yet. Now I expect competition to rise on Google throughout 2019 because Google is a little bit simpler to learn at the moment. It's a little bit more straightforward, and you have to jump through less hoops to go ahead and go out there and get your ads approved. Now, it is a completely different advertising process versus Facebook though, so it's definitely an entirely different skill set. So it's something to keep in mind. So Google is definitely just objectively less competitive for dropshipping than Facebook right now. So it is a good ad platform to use, and I would definitely recommend getting into it at one point because it's only going to get more and more competitive over time. So the next thing is that branded single product stores are the single most effective dropship strategy right now. But the caveat with this is you have to be good at product selection and you have to be good at marketing, which is why I recommend starting 2 stores, one of which being a general, because the general store is going to teach you about product selection and it's going to teach you about marketing. And as you get better at both of those things, you can go ahead and branch out into your single product store with a product that you know is going to do well, it's already proven, and you already know how to market it. So once you have the skill set in place, the single product stores are definitely the most effective strategy right now. However, you need to be good at product selection because if you pick a product that's not going to sell, then it's going to be a lot of time and effort to create an entire store around one product just for it not to pan out. So this strategy, the downside of it is you need to be actually good at product selection and marketing, which is why earlier I recommend starting 2 stores at once. And the last thing that I wanted to cover in this video about dropshipping moving into 2019 is the customers expect more now. So shopping online is becoming more and more common, which is a good thing because that means there's more and more customers out there for us to sell things to. However, with major companies moving primarily online, especially Amazon, I mean, everyone buys from Amazon Prime nowadays, customers expect more from online retailers, which is why shit-looking stores don't work. You need to go out there and make your store look like a professional retailer, because now that buying online has become more and more common and it's becoming flooded with more of the mainstream brands, people are going to be more likely to go buy from the brands they already trust. So if they're going to buy from you, you need to make sure that your store looks up to par, it looks solid, and you look like a brand that can be trusted. And that's really not that hard to do. It just takes a little bit of extra effort. You don't have to go out there and do crazy branding campaigns or anything like that. You just need to put in the effort to make your store actually look good, because customers are expecting more and more from online retailers now that it's becoming more and more common. So with that said, that's going to be it for this video. So definitely apply these tips when it comes to dropshipping in 2019, and you will definitely find the success you're looking for, as long as you follow the first step we covered, which is committing and then setting the proper expectations. So that said, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I'll see you guys in another one.